Good morning, Araya here. Today I wanted to talk about this thing I keep seeing and like the part of my journey when I was in this headspace. And I've been seeing it come about again, this sort of meme. Gotta love those memes. That's like it's too late, to wake anybody up. Whoever, is not awake, they're, pretty much doomed or whatever. They're never going to wake up. And, and I think I've even shared that out myself, a few years ago. The truth is that it's not anyone's job to wake anybody else up. Can you imagine one person trying to force a spiritual awakening on another? Doesn't that sound kind of absurd? And again, no judgment, because I have been in this headspace, but it's important to move beyond this headspace, because as long as we are focusing our energies into making someone else see our truth our way, we're taking away from the energy from our own healing journey. And I'll tell you what, it's not too late for anybody who's not there yet. In fact, the actual ascension itself, the planetary ascension, is not going to happen for decades, at least. Now, I know there's a lot of people that are having a rough go of it. It's tough dealing with family members that don't get it. And you're hoping that this ascension is just around the corner. But I'll tell you what, the only way you're going to get there is by doing the inner work. The planetary ascension may not be for decades. And believe me, it's nobody's free pass. You still have to put in the work. But the good news is, if you start putting in the work now and work towards developing your mastery, and you work on activating your DNA truly, and you work with your shadows, and you work on getting a higher perspective, and you let go of victimization, and you surrender to the process, and you're going to your higher self and say, how can I align with your divine will today? That's how you end up being what we would call a walking master. And now, being a walking master means that you're pretty much, for all intents and purposes, a 5D being in a 3D reality, and I believe that when enough of us reach this point of mastery, actually, that's not how I want to word it. I believe that in working towards individually and collectively reaching that level of mastery, we end up creating these little pockets of fifth dimension paradise, ultimately, in an otherwise 3D planet. And I feel like that's going to be the first step, is that bridge, but regardless, even if the planetary ascension was 3 years from now, you would still have to vibrate high enough to be able to shift with the earth. The way I see it, it's like the earth is expanding, and it's literally expanding to a different density or dimension, and as the earth expands, like if you envision, like this is the earth, and this is the layer that is the fifth dimension, and it's kind of, there it is, and it just keeps on expanding, and then eventually it'll reach that. But the thing is, you have to vibrate to that frequency to make it there, or else you still stay on the 340 layer, So it's so important to focus on the work, and it's not something that's just going to be like poof magic. But that being said, it's going to be real magic, real miracles where you reap what you sow, pretty much, and as far as other people that could still be asleep, I mean, forcing truth on people and judging people and separation is not the way. The way is through being your best self and way showing you know. It's through embodying, you know, be the change you want to see, you know. It's through embodying that higher vibration, and through your own progress and your own healing and your own transformation, then whoever is meant to be inspired will be inspired, and that opens the door up for them to feel the same. But this attitude, you know, we are going through a trifurcation, and that's a point of separation. But when we are consciously putting, you know, separation out there, you know, for us, you know, I believe this trifurcation, it's like, you know, those that are still asleep in their corners. And I don't say that with judgment, you know, that's their choice, and that's okay, you know. And then there's those who are just woke, which is like a very superficial type of spirituality, and they're into like magic, but they're not like really putting forth the work or all that interested in it. And then there's those that are on the enlightened path, those that really care about mastering, you know, themselves and their reality, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to create this reality. They're willing to sacrifice, you know, within reason, anything that's asked of them to sacrifice, you know, to pave the way for everybody else, you know. And this is where I see this branching off. But if you're one who resonates, and nobody can tell you where you are except for you, if you're one that resonates to the enlightened path, you understand that by putting it out like, you know, you guys are done for, that's not helping anybody. You know, it's too late for you, that's not helping anybody. And I know that it's tough dealing with people at times that don't accept your truth, but I feel like the way to combat that, or not combat, but the way to remedy that really is to accept their truth, you know, and to rise above and just be the bigger person. And believe me, there are so many times when I'm like, gosh, I have to be the bigger person again. But yes, I do, and yes, you do. That is, if you want to manifest the greatest, you know, benefit, if you want to put out the highest frequency out there. You know, this whole polarity and separation thing, you know, under the best of circumstances, you know, we want to acknowledge that, yeah, there are differences and there's a trifurcation happening, but we want to promote unity. You know, we want to promote love. We want to promote acceptance, you know. Who are we if we don't? But, you know, at the same time, believe me, I know it's frustrating dealing with friends and family that just don't get it. And your best bet is to just limit your time with them and the time that you do spend with them. And if they're that triggering to you, don't just limit your time. Take some time off. You know, take some time off. That's going to be more of a benefit than a detriment. But you know, when you're talking to friends and family about stuff that triggers them, what do you expect? You know, you want to keep it light. You want to be prepared to accept their truth. And you also want to kind of, you know, you want to talk about what's going on in your life and the projects you have going on. But at the same time, you don't need to drop these truth bombs. That's nobody's job, and it's only going to cause upset. Now, if somebody asks a specific question, like, what do you think about this? Then, you know, answer it, but use discernment and be impeccable with your word, which means, you know, use words that make you blameless. Use words, put compassion in your words, you know. Think about how they'll feel as a result of what you're saying, and help them feel like they can be a part of whatever it is you're experiencing when they ask, you know. And like I said, I've been on this journey, and but I realized that you know, a few years ago when I'd start to like drop these truths, quote unquote, on friends and family, you know, I'm a very strong empath, and I would feel it, you know, I would feel the energy shift, and it wasn't a good one. And so I eventually said, all right, whatever this isn't good, you know, and I need to just let people find their own way in their own time, you know. And if they don't choose that way, that's fine. You know, who are we to tell somebody else how to live? Who are we to, you know, unless they specifically ask us. And even then, you know, you have to you know, open the door and give the information, but you can't make someone do the things, right? But definitely, you know, with friends and family that are not into spirituality, or maybe they have a completely different form of spirituality that's in opposition to yours, or maybe they're not spiritual at all and just stuck in, you know, the old paradigm. Use compassion with your words, use compassion with your thoughts, send them love, be compassionate. And, you know, if you want to talk about, if you're like a healer or a psychic and your business is going well, talk about it on a surface level, yeah. But don't go deep into like construct of the universe and why, go into politics and stuff like that. You know, religion and politics is always not recommended to bring up with you know, friends and family, you know, at gatherings and stuff like that anyway. And you know, those topics are also just controversial. And keep it light if you want to still have a relationship with your friends and family that aren't on the same timeline as you, you know. Just because they're not on the same timeline doesn't mean that they don't deserve respect and love and care, you know. And in doing so, that'll help you grow and expand so much, you know. And whatever, you know, this need is to have everybody, you know, be on the same page, whether it's a control thing, ego, both, fear, whatever it might be, anxiety, just feeling like you're alone. Try to release it. Know that you're never alone, and know that there's always other people to relate to. You just have to magnetize yourself to them, you know, and that means, you know, dropping the judgmental stuff. I believe that I have conveyed what I wished to say today. You know, this journey has many stages, and a lot of us go through, you know, most of them, you know, and I think it's important for us to all be patient with each other and kind with each other and compassionate with each other, and really if we all strive to have a higher perspective and be compassionate with our and impeccable with our words, and really focus on service, then we can really create a beautiful future. And you know, our higher selves will thank us for it, you know. Always think about how you're making someone else feel, or how you're inspiring someone else to feel when you say the things you say, the way you say them. You know, think about the big picture, rise above. I know you all are capable, you know, and I have so much love for all of you. And like I said, I love everybody and everything. With that, I'm gonna stop, and I hope you all have a wonderful day.